Oh, Mr. Andersen early taking that one away from Zegras. Burns with a drive, but it goes off. Josti centers it. The score! Side of the net, Mark Jankowski. Jost sent it in. Jankowski was there. And stay hot, Mark Jankowski. His team's keeping it. Great puck movement early in this one. Blake, he'll step out in front. Who's puck? They score! Hall. He'll chase after this. And he'll play it around the boards. He's now out in the slot. Hall, side of the net, back in. He scores! What a setup! And Taylor Hall's second of the period puts Carolina back up by 2. It's 4-2 Hurricanes.
Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast, everyone. I am Adam Gold, and hope you're having a pleasant Sunday evening. My gosh, it's almost Monday. Not like it was on Thursday when the Canes played on the other side of the world. Hope everybody's having a good day. I trust you are. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Han and his crew do an amazing job. You should check them out. Aluminumcompany.com. 5-2 Hurricanes win. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Really, for 40 minutes, it was, really great for the Hurricanes. It was only 2-1, but for 40 minutes, that's the way Rod Brind'Amour wanted to see it. Canes were dominating the shots. I think they had held Anaheim to just 17, and Anaheim had, I think, double digits in the second period. First period was really good for Carolina in terms of the possession and the way they wanted to look, just didn't score. Second period, they got two, but they gave one up, and they were a little loose. Third period, man, was just a freaking gong show. So many scoring chances. Actually, what I haven't still done is, because I haven't refreshed it at all, to look at the third period totals. Yeah, the Ducks at even strength had 6 high danger scoring chances. They had 16 scoring chances, according to Natural Stat Trick. In the third period alone, they had 14 over the first 2 periods. They had 7 high dangers. Carolina did too, but Rod Brind'Amour doesn't want to trade chances. He wants to limit yours. He doesn't care about his. He knows he'll get them, especially if you have the puck. But, man, it was not the way they wanted it to look in the third period. But Hurricanes still skate away with a 5-2 win. Thank you very much for joining us. Shouts to you in Vero Beach. Sounds lovely. I know it is. Angier, Richmond, Cali Caniacs. You just had us for 4 days, 3 nights. Sounds like a vacation. Talia was at Climate Pledge Arena. Are you hanging? Like, Seattle didn't play today. What are you, just like loitering by the arena? I don't even know. Hi, Talia. Bluefield, West Virginia, and Huntington, West Virginia. Hurricanes are huge in West Virginia. In the DMZ, Fort Worth, Texas, Harnett County, and Montreal. We'll see the Canadiens Friday, a game I'm going to miss. I'm sad about that. I think this Canadiens team is fantastic to watch. I didn't like watching it the last time when the Hurricanes and Canadiens played, and they'll close out. They either close out the season with Montreal or it's the second to last game. I think they close it out with Montreal. Anyway, Carolina didn't play very well in that game. Montreal is good, and right now in wild card 2 in the Eastern Conference. So look forward to that game on Friday, except I'm not going to be there for that. I will be there for the return of Brady Skjei on Tuesday, and I will be there for the Sunday game against the Islanders and the following Tuesday against Washington. Should be a good homestand. Carolina, who knows? Maybe we'll see Ovechkin make history. Hopefully not. Or maybe we'll see the Hurricanes clinch, because you never know. The Hurricanes' magic number was to qualify for the playoffs was dropped to 10 today, and any combination of 10 points that the Hurricanes gain and the Islanders lose will put the Hurricanes in the playoffs for the 7th consecutive year. All right, here's what I want to talk about, a number of things. We are going to we're going to start with special teams, then we're going to move on to the game's first star. Special teams, and these two things are obviously intertwined. Special teams for Carolina, I mean, for the most part this year, because the penalty kill is so good, what you want is to have the combined percentages, the percentage of your penalty kill and the percentage of your power play, you want them to be north of 100. Well, the Hurricanes' penalty kill is about 85%. I'm ballparking here because I think it's a shade under. I haven't done the math after going 6 for 6 tonight. But for the most part, it's about 85%. And the power play in terms of the season-long percentage, because they went 1 for 3 tonight, is, let's just say 18%. So 85 and 18 is 103. That's fine. Now, we all know that since the calendar turned, the power play had been horrific to the point where they're under 8%, going 1 for 3 tonight. They are now 8 for 95 on the power play in 2025. 8 for 95. They have 6 shorthanded goals. It's mind-blowing. Heck, Aho could have had 3 tonight. So the power play still needs to get better. But let's be honest. I mean, even the best power plays, the best in the league, they don't score 2/3 of the time. So what you really want is you just want it to look like it has a chance to score just about every time. Because, look, the other team might be good on the penalty kill, or they might be good that night on a penalty kill. I'm not saying that's what's happening to Carolina. Carolina right now is a walking penalty kill when they have the power play. But I think we have started over the last, several games, I think we've started to see some signs. And the power play goal they scored, I'm trying to remember the game, was it in Philly? Where I think it was Taylor Hall also in a rebound. Where Hall got to a good spot and he put in a rebound. It was a shot. Then Aho had a rebound attempt, and his shot was saved, but there was a rebound, and then Taylor Hall put the rebound in. Yeah, that's good. That's a good power play goal, and that's what you want to see. You want to see being able to take advantage of the fact that you have an extra guy, and then you don't necessarily have to have the fancy passing for a goal. And even this goal wasn't about fancy passing, but if you go back and you watch it, there was quick, decisive puck movement. There was purposeful player movement. And then Jackson Blake makes an individual play coming in from the left. He decided, I don't have anybody to pass to. Aho was covered in the bumper. Don't want to keep passing it back up to the point. So Blake saw an opportunity, made a move, got to the front of the net. His shot was saved, but the rebound slid through legs right to Taylor Hall, who banged it home. Mwah! Chef's flippin' kiss. That's a good power play. Taylor Hall's been good. We're going to get to the new guys in a bit. So you get the power play goal. That's great. You go 6 for 6 on the penalty kill. Jacob Slavin, awesome. There were shots blocked. Freddie Andersen had to make some really good saves on the penalty kill. But for the most part, this was really just a very good penalty killing unit by Carolina. And 6 for 6. They're the best in the league at it. Dallas is right there too, by the way. They're basically been going back and forth, 1-2, 1-2. And today's game, you basically won because of special teams. Again, 6 is too many, even though Anaheim's power play isn't any good. They came in 13%. But the truth of the matter is that that didn't look like the 30th best power play in the league to me. It looked like they were pretty dangerous. They just haven't been able to score, I guess. I haven't seen them all that much. We saw them in Raleigh on Eric Staal Day, which they spoiled. with an overtime win. But you just can't be in the penalty box 6 times in a game. But they were. But with that said, they killed them all off. So they win the game on special teams. And some of these are special teams, but this was, in spite of a bad goal, a great Frederik Andersen performance.
Now a chance here. Shot right on. Andersen makes the save. Oh, Mr. Andersen early taking that one away from Zegras. Burns with a drive, but it goes off of Jost. He centers it. They'll score! Side of the net, Mark Jankowski. Jost sent it in. Jankowski was there. And stay hot, Mark Jankowski, his 6th goal with the Canes.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with Frederik Andersen.
Zegras sends it across, and Andersen flashes the leather on McTavish. Now this is pitched forward. Opportunity for Strome. In on Andersen. And Andersen again with a save. Chatfield hustled back, but Frederik Andersen has been brilliant. Now here comes a chance for Zellweger out in front. Another chance. And Mr. Andersen, oh, his best of the game, saves it to keep Carolina up 2. And now here's an opportunity. Coming in is Terry, shoots, and Andersen gets a piece.
Kochetkov should have shot, especially with the scoreboard. You see what it can lead to. What a save. What a save. Again, that glove has been Midas touch golden for Andersen.
All right, I remember the play. Kochetkov has an opportunity to shoot. It was 3-1 Carolina. Has an opportunity to shoot. He decides to pass it to the middle of the ice. It gets intercepted and goes the other way and ends up as a breakaway. I'm like, no, what are you doing, KK? Anyway, a lot of Freddie Andersen tonight. He was great. He was too busy in the third period, but the first goal that he allows, the Alex Killorn goal, that's a bad goal. No other way to look at it. That's fine. He more than made up for it tonight. The expected goals for Anaheim, I'm going to get those in a minute. For some reason, the expected goals are missing. Oh, of course they are. Let's go down here. This will tell me goals saved above expected. Again, for some reason, it's gone. I don't understand. Every stat is available on Natural Stat Trick except expected goals. I'll tell you this. After 2 periods, expected goals were 4-2 in favor of Carolina, and it was 2-1. If I was going to ballpark a guess, I would say expected goals probably was 5, maybe, let's say 6. 6-4 Carolina. Just guess. 6-4 Carolina with expected goals. Freddie was awesome tonight. And 2 things about this. One, it's now 5 games in a row where Andersen has been dynamite. He is 4-1-0 in his last 5 starts. Absolutely tremendous. Actually, it might be more than that. It might be 5-1-0 in his last 6 starts. But this stretch now, as Carolina has now won 9 of 10, and even before they were getting good goaltending in the win over Buffalo with Kochetkov, Andersen lost the game to Edmonton, in which he played really well. But even with all of that, the Andersen has been so good. And coming off yesterday's, it's not like Kochetkov was bad yesterday because he allowed 1 bad goal. And then, could he have played another a little bit differently? There was a rebound you don't like, I think, for the 5th goal. I think was it the Byfield goal? The Byfield goal, and there was another one that looked just like it was a replay. I could see, you being critical of Kochetkov, but frankly, I didn't think he played that badly, and I know he allowed 7 goals. I'm not even trying to argue that he played well, but I don't think it was that bad. But coming off of that, and against a team like Anaheim, while they don't score a lot, they're one of the Like they average like 2.6 goals a game. You needed a good goal scoring performance, and you knew that they were a chance creating machine, and they were tonight. And Andersen just answered every call until the Cologne goal. I get it. But he was so good in the third period, because if you allow a goal, so many of those shots that we heard were in the third when it was 3-1, because the power play goal from Hall came relatively early and gave Carolina the 2-goal cushion. But he just answered every one. And like, this is a legitimate competition to see who starts game one. Kochetkov's been brilliant lately. I really push the game yesterday in LA aside. He'll get the start against Nashville on Tuesday. Then we'll have Freddie on Friday against Montreal. And then Sunday it'll be Kochetkov against the Islanders with Ilya Sorokin. And he is always good against Russians. So it's a legitimate competition to see who's going to start the playoffs. And it was just cool for Andersen to take advantage of, even if it's a hiccup by Piotr, Andersen is just pushing along. And he's getting himself into a position where could be him. Could be Freddie. And I know we all want Piotr to eventually assume that role. But if Andersen deserves it, Andersen deserves it. And if you go back last year and you look at the last 20 games, when Andersen came back from the blood clot issue, and they alternated the last 20 games, except the last game of the season Spencer Martin played. Andersen outplayed Kochetkov. Not significantly. They were both good. Andersen was just better. And if Andersen is the better goalie, Rod's going to give him the crease in game one. And I would have no problem with it. Whoever plays better deserves that opportunity. I do think that we'll have something different this year, as I've said before. I don't think we'll have a straight, you're the guy and you play all the games like Rod did last time. I think he'll split it. And I think as long as Kochetkov and Andersen both have the head coach's trust, I think he'll choose one guy to be the main guy, but I don't think it will be you're starting all the games guy. So with that, Andersen was spectacular tonight. And my favorite thing about him was that he looked calm. All night long, looked calm. So really, really impressive performance from him tonight. All right, let's talk about the new guys. The new guys. So Mark Jankowski has played 7 games with the Hurricanes. He has 6 goals on 8 shots. Mark Jankowski has played 7 games. He has 6 goals on 8 shots. He is a +5. Yep. Just like we all had. Logan Stankoven has played 7 games. He has a goal and 3 assists. He is a +1. Taylor Hall has played 20 games with the Hurricanes. He has 6 goals, 3 tonight, 5 assists. He has 11 points, and he is a +8. That's pretty good. Now, first of all, and we haven't talked about this, but I think not enough has been said. I really do. I mean this seriously. Not enough has been said about the galaxy brain maneuvering that Eric Tulsky did at the trade deadline, or actually it was well before the trade deadline, to make it seem as though the Hurricanes went big game hunting to get the Moose, Mikko Rantanen, from Colorado, when really the move that we all ignored was really the acquisition of Taylor Hall, using Mikko Rantanen as a smokescreen to take the pressure off of Taylor Hall, who has seamlessly integrated himself into Carolina Hurricanes culture. Because that's the way it was supposed to work out, right? I mean, find the lie. Hall is here. I think we've all heard rumors that they're going to try to sign him and keep him. I mean, I would. I don't think he'll be super expensive, even though they can afford it. But I think that he's got speed. He's strong. He's big. He's a playmaker. Fits right in. But I think he is a worker. And if you're a worker in this system, you have a spot. And he can play anywhere. He's playing with the top power play unit. He had the power play goal tonight. He can play on a top line if you need him, but he's really, at this stage of his career, he's probably better suited to be a middle six guy. He can play on your second line, play on your third line. I think he's a great fit, a dynamite fit here. And obviously tonight is tonight. He had 3 goals, but the power play goal is just, that's a play made by Jackson Blake. And I didn't give him one of my 3 stars, Jackson Blake, talking about. But he was good again. He makes the play. Hall gets the rebound of the initial shot by Blake. But then the Kotkaniemi passed to Hall for the goal that made it 4-2, half a minute after Trevor Zegras pokes the puck through Andersen to make it 3-2. I mean, that's a great pass from Kotkaniemi first, but just then a dynamite play by Hall to go forehand, backhand, be patient, and beat Staal. Just a tremendous goal. The empty net goal is great, and it gets him the hat trick, but really the power play goal and that goal that made it 4-2, just absolutely massive for the Hurricanes. And it's great to see Taylor Hall fitting in. He does seem like he really digs it as a Hurricane. And that's basically what these guys do. Jankowski loves it too. I think Stankoven fits in. It'll be very interesting to see what happens when we get to the playoffs and there are, and William Carrier comes back. I know there was a question about it. They expect him back for the playoffs. Now, is that game 1 of the playoffs, or is it, a week and a half in? I don't know. But they expect him back for the playoffs. And I have to assume that Carrier is going to play. So if Carrier plays, whether he plays with Staal and Martinook, I don't know. But if he plays, there's somebody coming out of the lineup that you go, really? You want to take that guy out of the lineup? I talked about this extensively yesterday. And by the way, something I have not mentioned once at all is I kind of miss the iced tea set that I was in yesterday. Didn't you dig it? Bright, Canesy all over the place. It's like somebody threw up Hurricanes in a well-lit room. This is not a well-lit room. This is Studio SIP, which stands for Screened In Porch. But this is where we normally are as we do these things, and it's beautiful tonight. So I'm actually going to sit with Megan LaMontagne on Tuesday and record an episode of Ice Tea. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I'm going to guess it'll be the Hurricanes. But we talked a lot about what the lineups might look like when we get to the playoffs. And truth of the matter is, I think the odd man out, I guess theoretically it could be Carrier, right? But the odd man out is Will, or it's Roslovic, who's got 21 goals, or it's Stankoven, Jankowski, who I don't see that, or Robinson. And because Robinson and Jankowski both kill penalties, I kind of lean towards them staying in the lineup. So maybe Stankoven, maybe Roslovic, and maybe Carrier. I don't know. But one of those guys is not going to play. And that is amazing to me. That is what it means to have all this depth right now for the Canes. And they've got plenty of depth. All right, so we talked about the new guys. Let's just have a little fun here for a second before we bring up a couple of things maybe specific to the game, and then we'll get out of here. Because we talked about Hall with 11 points in 20 games and a +8. We talked about Jankowski, 6 goals on 8 shots in 7 games and a +5. Stankoven, 4 points in 7 games and a +1. Meanwhile, in Dallas, Mikko Rantanen has played 20 games for teams not named the Colorado Avalanche. He's got 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. He's a -5. And his teams, first the Hurricanes, then the Dallas Stars, are 9, 8, and 3 in those 20 games. The Hurricanes and the Dallas Stars combined are 43 games over NHL 500. That is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Have you seen the movie? It's William Macy. The Cooler. Is Mikko Rantanen the Cooler? I don't know. Just kidding. I know a lot of you are mad. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Rantanen. It's fine. It's okay. In some ways, and I'm not in any way saying that Rantanen is not a great player. He will be who he is, which over the course of his career has been about 1.2 points per game. He'll be that even if he's not playing with Nathan MacKinnon. By the way, somebody did the numbers, and he had played like 60 games without MacKinnon, and his numbers were actually a little bit better than without MacKinnon. So maybe Nathan MacKinnon is holding him back. I don't know. He'll eventually be that player, the same player he was. He'll be that player with Dallas. But here's what I get to. I'm not sure he would have been that here. So in some ways, having watched it for 13 games, and that is the smallest of sample sizes, I'm not sure that Rantanen not wanting to be here or his girlfriend not wanting to be here, which is probably more the case, because it really didn't have anything to do with the hockey. I mean, it might have had a little bit. Maybe he didn't want to play this way. Maybe he didn't want to forecheck and expend a lot of energy on the defensive side of the puck, which is required here from everybody. So maybe it had something to do with the hockey. Maybe that saved the Hurricanes a $12.5 million cap hit for somebody who wasn't going to be that guy here. Maybe. Maybe the Hurricanes are better off with Jackson Blake. I hope you guys understand the humor there. This could work out as the best possible deal. And now the Hurricanes have $35 million in cap room to go find the player who fits both bills, who can both score and play the way the Hurricanes want. And maybe they already have him in Mark Jankowski. Awesome. Unsung tonight, Carolina's faceoffs. The big three, Staal, Aho, Kotkaniemi. 29 and 12 in the circle. 29 and 12. Staal was, I think, 15 and 8. Aho was 8 and 4. And Kotkaniemi was 6 and 0. It was very, very impressive tonight for the Hurricanes. Penalty kill, power play goal, Taylor Hall hat trick, Jacob Slavin back being Jacob Slavin. He took one game off, people. He's allowed. He's mortal. Sort of. Still a wizard. Hey, even Harry Potter had a bad day. I don't remember. Which was the bad day? I don't know. Maybe there were Dementors in Los Angeles. I will just chalk it up to that. Maybe there were Dementors. I apologize. All right, we got to go. One thing I didn't do, and I'll just go through it. And we're going to do this at the end of each podcast because the games and the standings all matters. 102 points for Washington. Carolina's within 12, but only 12 games left. Unless Washington falls apart, Carolina's not going to sniff the top of the division. But it's not about the top of the division. It's about making sure you have home ice advantage for the first series, and they are 10 points clear of the Devils, and they have a game in hand. 90 points. The Devils have 80. Hurricanes have 12 games remaining. The Devils don't get any more cracks at Carolina. In the Atlantic Division, Florida won tonight, rallying to beat Pittsburgh in a shootout. Florida's got 89 points. Toronto's got 87. Tampa, who lost in Vegas, has 85. The Panthers have one fewer game left to play, so if Toronto were to win their game in hand, they'd be on 89 points, but Florida holds the regulation wins tiebreaker at this point. Tampa is close. Tampa also has a game in hand on Florida, but they're 4 points back. In the wild card, Ottawa has been cruising lately. 13 games remaining. They have a 4-point lead on Montreal. Canadiens also have 13 games remaining, 75 points. The Rangers are only 1 point back, but Montreal and Ottawa each have 2 games in hand on New York. The Islanders have 2 games in hand on the Rangers. The Islanders are actually in better position than the Rangers are. The Islanders on 73 points, 1 behind the Rangers and 2 back of Montreal. We don't have to talk about anybody else unless somebody goes on a little bit of a winning streak here. But right now, the Islanders look like the most likely challenger to Montreal for the second wild card spot. I would not want to play the Senators. I tell you what, if the Hurricanes play the Senators, it will almost certainly be in the Eastern Conference Finals, in which case I'll take my chances with the Senators then. But I think the Senators are dangerous, and I wouldn't want to play them in the first round. And right now, if you're the Florida Panthers, that is going to be a dangerous team for you. They're not healthy. They're going to play the first couple of games in that series without Aaron Ekblad anyway. That could be an interesting series. I think Ottawa I want no part of it. In the West, Winnipeg, who somehow lost to Buffalo tonight, can't even figure that out. 100 points. Their magic number is, I believe, 4 to clinch a playoff spot. Dallas is second. They are 3 points ahead of Colorado, and the Stars have 2 games in hand. So that's going to be a Dallas-Colorado matchup, likely. Minnesota is actually pretty close to the Avalanche. They're only 4 points back, and they've got a game in hand. I think Colorado probably ends up third. So it's going to be Dallas-Colorado, which is, of course, going to be the entire series nationally televised, which I'm here for. Vegas out west with a win over Tampa today moves 5 points clear of Edmonton. The Kings, who won again, actually are now even with the Oilers, and they have a game in hand. So, I mean, theoretically, the Kings are ahead of Edmonton. So they'll meet again in the playoffs like the Hurricanes and the Devils seem to always meet. But the Kings and the Oilers, only now L.A. might have home ice advantage when we get right down to it. And we'll see what the health status is of McDavid and Draisaitl. The wild card in the West, Minnesota's got wild card 1. St. Louis is 4 points back, but the Wild have 2 games in hand. St. Louis right now in wild card 2 position. But Calgary's got 3 games in hand. They're 4 points behind the Blues. Vancouver is 1 further back, and Utah is on 75 points. So it's pretty much between St. Louis and Calgary. I think Vancouver's going to have to go on a little bit of a winning streak to give themselves a chance. Anyway, that does it for us. I am Adam Gold. This has been the Canes Corner podcast. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Han and his crew, top-notch people. top-notch work, top-notch customer service. See everybody after the game between the Hurricanes and the Predators on Tuesday. Until good night.